Arsenal have just shared with the whole world a recipe for domination in this season's Premier League. Arsenal 3, Manchester City 0, a game which could have ended 4-5, 6-0. So let's do 3 things we learned. Number 1, Zolis, the new toy within North London, the new toy within the Arsenal changing room, a player with a lot of hype, a lot of promise, a lot of pedigree, a player that's shown previous seasons, I know how to score goals, I know how to create opportunities, put up, 40, 45 goals for Club Brugge in the Belgian League. And of course, the common narrative is, it's the Belgian League. Can it really translate in the English game? Yes. You don't score 40. You don't get 40, 45 goals and assists without being a semi-decent player. And if you put a semi-decent player in a system that's very rewarding, that's very productive, around far better players than the players he played with at Club Brugge, I promise you he'll explode. I like him. I've kept an eye on him in pre-season. He looks hungry. He looks like a player that's come to North London with a personality of, I want to start. I want to take the game to the opposition. I'm not walking into this camp of winners, Premier League champions, Champions League finalists, and I'm shying away from the occasion and I'm waiting my turn. No. I'm taking every opportunity. I'm making every touch on the field count. I'm making every opportunity, every goal stand out. And even in pre-season, he's looked decent. He's chipped in with goals. He's chipped in with assists. And most importantly, where he stands out for me in comparison to like Martinelli, the player that he's competing with down the left-hand side, is Zolis is not tunnel vision. He's not the type of player where give me the ball, I will just run in a straight line, or give me the ball and I can only really harm the opposition as long as there's space in behind. When you take into account Arsenal today, they were coming up against the Manchester City team where at times they were sitting back, inviting pressure. Zolis against the low block, what can you do? Can you take on your man? I feel like he done pretty well. Can you create some separation? I feel like he done pretty well. Even when crosses came into the box and aerially he's not the most gifted, he was finding his teammates. For me, he's without a doubt the one player to keep an eye on the most this season, because it's like I said, you don't get 45 goals and assists. And when you look at some of the goals that he was scoring, screamers from outside of the box, striker finishes inside of the box, set pieces, he's a good player. He's a very, very, very good player. He's one of those players where you take him out of an environment and put him in a better environment, and I promise you, he's got the skill set to explode. He's definitely a player I'll be monitoring this season, because I just feel like when you look at Arsenal especially, the fact that Calafiori inverts, he starts to play in midfield, that creates a lot of space for somebody like Zolis out wide. But most importantly, he's always got that inward pass into somebody like Calafiori. So in a sense, Arsenal will overload the centre to free up their wingers. And he's one of those players that's shown even last season in the Champions League with Club Brugge, you don't want to isolate me. You don't want to leave me one-on-one, because I can play make, I can score, I can cut inside and smash it in the top corner. I've been really impressed. I've been really, really, really impressed by him. And it's safe to say, even in the Community Shield, he stood out. Number 2, Ben White. You probably weren't expecting that name, Benny Blanco. He's really capitalising on the fact that Jurriën Timber is out injured. And I feel like he's telling Arteta, if I perform like this and I stay performing at this level, Timber is coming to sit on the bench, because at the moment, this is my position. He's looked great in pre-season. And the thing about Ben White is he's a good technician. He's a good footballer. Good footballers will always stand out. Good technicians will always stand out in a ball-dominant team. But he's more than that. He's good defensively. He's locked in. I feel like last season, not playing that much has probably aided him. Like, I know it sounds crazy. It's aided him because it's given him a rest. It's given him a taste of life, sitting on the bench and watching your teammates go out and secure victory after victory. And you're just a bench warmer. And it's safe to say, even in pre-season, he's looked good. He's looked healthy. He's looked hungry. He's looked tenacious. He's looked aggressive. He's played all over the place when you take into account Timber is injured, Saliba is injured. Even last season, towards the end of the campaign, when Ben White came back into the team, he looked so good. And you know who also looked good? Bukayo Saka. Let's not forget the little dynamic trio that was going on 1-2 years ago down Arsenal's right-hand side. Ben White, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka. I feel like this season, when you look at Saka, and there's a lot of question marks over his injuries, over his physicality, whether or not he can play full throttle from minute 1 to minute 90, what he needs more than anything is defensive security behind him. What he needs more than anything is a player that understands his strengths and weaknesses. And most importantly, the track record has shown I can get something out of you. Ben White, for me, is just a good footballer. He's just a good footballer. Give him the ball playing out of the back, he'll progress play. Defensively, he's locked in. He's looking at Arteta and thinking, this is my chance. I'm going to capitalise on Timber being out. And once Timber is back, he needs to perform to my level in order to drop me to the bench. And of course, if Timber raises the bar and gets to Ben White's level, then it's a win-win. You know what I mean? It's a win-win for Arsenal. But for me, Ben White, he really, really, really stood out. And number 3, it's 2 players that played centrally. Martin Odegaard and Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly, once again, he's a great footballer. I feel like this video should be renamed to the good footballers at Arsenal. He's a good player. And I feel like at times he hasn't really been given a fair shot, a fair crack at the opportunity to play in midfield. And maybe it's because he's small. At times he can be timid, but he's small, but he's aggressive. He's tenacious. He's a duel winner. He gets stuck in. And the thing I love about Lewis Skelly more than anything, regardless of the opposition, regardless of whichever swing the game is going in, regardless of whether it's home, away, summer, autumn, spring, Lewis Skelly never shies away from a challenge. He never shies away from receiving the ball and playing under pressure. If anything, he's probably one of the most press-resistant players at Arsenal. Give me the ball under pressure. It's fine. I'll take that risk. I'll put myself in danger. I'll step into territory where 9 times out of 10, players lose the ball. When you look at the goal that Arsenal scored, where it literally took them 25 seconds to put the ball into the back of the net, Lewis Skelly, give it to me. Drop of the shoulder, Phil Foden, on your bike. On your bike. And now, the beauty in it is, you've beat Phil Foden, but can you make that decisive pass? Are you going to pass sideways? Are you going to pass backwards? Are you going to take too long on the ball, invite pressure, and then surrender it? Or are you going to have that killer pass, that pass through the eye of a needle into Calafiori one-on-one? That's a chance created out of nothing. That's a chance created out of nothing. I promise you, put another Arsenal player in that area. 1, they might beat Phil Foden, but they won't make that pass. 2, they might not even beat Phil Foden. Lewis Skelly, for me, is a great player. And you could see when he plays with his heart on his sleeve. He doesn't shy away from anything. And I feel like title-winning teams, or teams that want to compete for the title, there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders. Every team across town wants to be the team that takes down the giant, that takes down the team that's ranked number 1 in the Premier League. You need players more than anything of personality. In football, we can talk about tactics, we can talk about technical ability, we can talk about physical ability, but we can also talk about personality. Players that step up in games when so many of the other superstars in the team, they shy away. I don't want to be the guy to make the mistake. I don't want to be the guy that gets the blame at the end of the game. You need players that step up. And the one thing this kid has more than anything, like even when he popped onto the scene and he scored against Manchester City and he done the Erling Haaland celebration, the one thing Lewis Skelly has is personality. Title-winning teams need personality more than anything. Yes, they need new recruits. Yes, they need new players that bring in that hunger, that desire to go out and win once again. At times, they might need a new range of tactics, a new formula of playing, because the opposition have now familiarized themselves with, this is how you guys play. We watched you last season for 38 games. You got to change it up. You got to reinvent yourself. But besides all of that, you need personality. Players that want to get on the ball, players that want to play, players that want to take on that pressure, players that want to be the guys within a team that make that tough decision. And today you could see it. 25 seconds into the game, give me the ball, Phil Foden charging at me, Community Shield, little rivalry between Arsenal and Manchester City. Phil Foden on your bike. On your bike. Calafiori on a plate. Can you finish? 1-0 Arsenal. I think he really done well. And Odegaard, it's been a very long time since Martin Odegaard looked semi-decent in an Arsenal shirt. I feel like when we look at Lewis Skelly and say he's got the personality and he never shies away, Martin Odegaard's biggest downfall in an Arsenal shirt is the fact that when the pressure is on, he tends to shy away. But what can help a player like that, what can help revive him, is putting more personalities around him. And I feel like football has shown over the years that so many players, the minute you give them the captain's armband, their level drops off. They can't handle it. It's too much pressure on their shoulders. I firmly believe Martin Odegaard is one of those players. Take the captain's armband away from him and you'll see his performances go up 3, 4, 5 levels. But of course, you might also kill his confidence by taking it away from him. What he needs more than anything is players on the field that look at him and say, not everything is on your shoulders today. I'm here to your left. I'm here to your right. Players that want the ball. And you could see in the centre, when Arsenal overload the field, if there's one thing Odegaard likes more than anything, is the gives and goals, the flicks around the corner, having so many options to his left, to his right, ahead of him. I think he done really well and maybe very similar to Ben White. Last season, he got a taste, he got an experience of not being the main man, being the guy on the bench, being the guy that has to fight with Eze for his position. And maybe he doesn't like it. Maybe he doesn't like it and it's finally giving him that kick up the arse to go back to the Martin Odegaard of 1, 2, 3 years ago. And if that was to happen, it's a positive for Arsenal. But let's see what happens. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. We'll catch you on another one.